So you have something that's bad for the environment. It's going to take all the jobs, and it basically extinguishes or dilutes creativity. Well, no shit, the kids don't like it.
They're going to be happy for a minute because they'll be able to train the AI and get a little side hustle cash. And then,
well, when OnlyFans is 99 cents a month for like all the AI girls and boys and nakedness, like maybe people will be okay.
Bruh.
Hide your kids. Lock the doors. You're listening to HR's most dangerous podcast. Chad Sowash and Joel Cheeseman are here to punch the recruiting industry right where it hurts. Complete with breaking news, brash opinion, and loads of snark. Buckle up, boys and girls. It's time for the Chad and Cheese Podcast.
Oh, yeah, bass. Hello, can you go? Hey, kids, it's the Chad and Cheese Podcast. I'm your co-host, Joel. I thought it was me as a doctor, Cheeseman.
And this is Chad. I'm a doctor, not a podcaster. Sowash.
And on this episode of HR's Most Dangerous Podcast, LinkedIn shakes, Gen Z breaks, and Silicon Valley gets even douchier than it already is. Is that even possible? Let's do this.
At Shaker Recruitment Marketing, our comprehensive services include branding, talent attraction, MarTech, and analytics, empowering you to achieve your recruitment marketing goals. We believe in doing things the right way, delivering the right message through the right activation, achieving the right conversion. For us, business is deeply personal. Our legacy is built on relationships. Together with our people, clients, and partners, we've been shaping the world of talent for over 70 years.
Dude. Okay, before we get into Canada, 2026 is fucking wild. 16 fucking 16
That's
years.
the understatement of the year.
16 years Hungary's had an autocrat and they finally voted them out, right? And we're finding that our autocrat thinks he's Jesus Christ. No, wait a minute. A doctor that fights popes. I mean, nobody had this on their bingo card. I mean,
well, the Pope
we knew
is
he'd
weak.
do crazy
the Pope
shit.
is weak on crime, Chad, and that just. I'm just waiting for the movie about a Pope that fights crime, because I wasn't aware that was part of his duties.
Oh my God, so bad.
But some silver linings. The Artemis stuff, going back to the moon. That is, I think, as I'm an older person, appreciating the engineering around what it takes to do that is just fascinating. And going
I think it's
back
important
to the moon,
to clean the shitter when you're that far away too, and they were able to do that.
You and I both grew up in the shadow of the Apollo missions and going to the moon, and then we spent like our whole lives no moon.
Just
it's too expensive, and now that I'm on the doorstep of death, we're finally going back to the moon, and I'm pretty happy about it.
Dude.
What else? There's got to be more good stuff. World Cup's coming.
Yeah,
they're excited about that. We got our taking the whole
Iran's
family
in it though. I don't know that they're going to be able. I don't know that they're going to let them in the country. They're like in a group.
Didn't they appeal to play in Mexico? Because I think they were initially in
Canada. Why not?
Canada would too. Canada loves everybody. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you were there, so they love everybody.
I was there. The border is pretty empty, Chad. The border. If you want to drive to Canada,
this is the time
it's
to
a
go
pretty
to Canada.
It's a pretty smooth entry and exit. If you want to do that.
Jesus.
What else?
Crazy.
So the whole family's going to the Indy 500 this year. This is the first time that we're doing that. Yeah, from Cole on down.
Tickets.
Infield? Tickets. What? Yeah, the third turn, I think, is usually our turn of choice.
Mm-hmm.
Dick Vitale, Dickie V. You and I grew up on Dickie V.
Of course.
Sadly, his fifth bout with cancer, but in Dickie V style, said, "I'm 4-0 against cancer. I'm about to be 5-0." Like, That's the kind of strength that is just hard to find these days. And my man's 86.
Yeah. And going through that many bouts already. I mean, you talk about just like, fuck it, I'm out, but not him, not Dickie B. He's not playing the game.
Dude, I'm one Blue Chew and a Chipotle bowl, and I'm out. If I'm fighting cancer 5 times, I'm just goodbye world. You're
gonna need more than one Blue Chew.
Yeah, but yes. So when I was on spring break.
Yeah.
You can still be on spring break if you have kids that go on spring break, and most people go to Florida, Texas, California, Colorado. Yeah. No, we go to Canada for spring break, and our family. Everyone knows that listens. My wife is Canadian.
Nobody's there,
and they rolled out the red carpet because it fucking snowed when we were there.
Oh my
fucking snowed for spring break in Canada. But I had a good time. Took a day trip to Toronto from London, if you know your geography in Canada, and we got to see the Blue Jays play baseball. Played the Dodgers. I got to see Ohtani pitch and DH.
Wow.
So I got to see the blossoming goat play both positions, which was great. And then we literally walked down a couple blocks and saw the Maple Leafs play the Capitals. Wow. So we got to see Ovechkin, who looks older than both of us and is probably in worse physical shape than
That's
me.
A hard game, dude.
So
it's a hard game.
Well, and he's Russian. He's probably bottle fed on vodka. And the dude looks rough. He starts.
No stereotypes here, kids.
And then he plays maybe 4 minutes. He comes in a little bit, skates around. He has tons of fans there that love him. And the Maple Leafs are awful. But we did see the Blue Jays win 4-3, come back, which is great. But then the Maple Leafs got killed. So that was Canada. And now I'm back. And as people find out in travel, we're going someplace pretty nice, but I won't spoil that.
We're getting ready to go.
I got to go. You're coming back to the States. It's been a while.
Yeah, not looking forward to it, to be quite frank. But yeah, I mean the people are great, and the money doesn't suck either. So let's go ahead and have some fun.
The money's funny, and the credit won't get it otherwise.
Gonna be in Chicago.
I just hope there's enough jet fuel to get you back home, because everything I'm reading is like jet fuel is at a premium right now.
God,
I'm gonna be lucky to get to Wreckfest this year at the rate this is going.
Don't even. I don't even.
Don't need that shit. Don't need that.
Is it time for shout outs?
Yes.
All right, Chad. Who'd we agree was going first in the green room?
You go first.
I'll go first.
Yours is a happy one.
So my shout out, give me some runway on this one. This one goes out to my favorite band, Oasis, who got into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. They're going to be inducted with the likes of Joy Division, New Order, Billy Idol, Phil Collins, which is kind of ironic because the Gallagher brothers hate Phil Collins. So to have them in the same room, assuming everyone shows up, is going to be pretty funny. But
they won't.
I want a little history lesson for people. Not everybody.
History lesson.
Here at the Chad and Cheese Podcast, one thing that we love is obviously you watching, but also like and subscribe.
Not everyone grew up in the 90s or remember the 90s. And so just people ask me why I like Oasis so much. And I just really quickly, if you were listening to music in the US from like, let's call it 91 to 94 or 5.
That was horrible.
Well, it was a thing, and it was all the thing. It was like Nirvana hit it off, and then you had Pearl Jam, Soundgarden, Alice in Chains. Like everyone sort of sounded.
All the grunge stuff was great. Yeah.
Grunge stuff. But it got to a point where it was like such a downer. It was, rape me. I want to kill myself. Students shooting up school. Like it was just a downer. And I get it because it followed the Reagan stuff in the 80s. Fun.
Yeah.
So, but Oasis came out, and the first song I ever heard, and you couldn't find music really easily back in the day. There was no internet. You'd have to watch MTV, watch 120 Minutes or Headbangers Ball.
Or hope that the radio station was worth a shit.
Which they weren't. Yo MTV Raps, like that's kind of where you found music that you hadn't heard. But I heard Supersonic, and it blew me away because it was rock. It was like, let's have gin and tonics. There was homage to the Beatles with Yellow Submarine. And I thought, this is good. So I really connected because it came at a time where everything was kind of down. Everything was grunge. Everything was blah. I mean, it was either that or you had to go to like Hootie and the Blowfish or Dave Matthews, or like there was no sort of rock.
It's taking way too long on this fucking shout out. My God.
Sorry, that's my shout out. But I do have a quick video of Noel Gallagher talking about sort of band when they were coming up in the bands today, which is if nothing else, their interviews are fantastic. So check this out.
The music industry doesn't like Mavericks.
Yeah.
You know, the reason why there are no bands now is because in the 90s, Oasis and Primal Scream and Blur and Pulp and all those, we were the mainstream. And what the music industry doesn't like the mainstream being a load of fellas on drugs, drunk half the time on a Tuesday. They don't like that. They like people like Harry Styles.
Yeah.
Who they say, wear this dress and shut it. Wear this, sing that, and go home.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what happened. So, but the Mavericks are still there. It's just they're not in the mainstream. And I've got.
So no one gives interview quite like Noel Gallagher, and wanted to throw that out there. But yeah, excited for them. Excited to see if they perform because they're historically against the Rock Hall, hate it, think it sucks. But now they're sort of into it because they've been indoctrinated. And by the way, one of the fewest vote getters popular in the thing. So it's the critics and the people that voted him up. Because America didn't necessarily embrace Oasis like much of the rest of the world.
Yeah.
Shout out to Oasis.
We're assholes, but we don't like other assholes. So,
well, look, I think there's a lot of similarities between them and us. We came along at most HR podcasts. Let's be honest, our snooze fests. We came on and said, "Fuck that." Indeed sucks, and everyone's stupid, and Burson's a punk, and so like I think there's you and I don't always get along. We come on stage and we kind of forget about our differences, and so I don't know. I think
we do our thing.
We're not for everybody. But for the people who love us, and that's
but we're
awesome.
for you. All right,
what you got, man?
Well, Joel, we're hearing a ton of crazy shit about candidate fraud. Not only is Indeed sending tons of unqualified candidates that you can't manage, you have no idea which ones are real. So this week, my shout out goes to Mark and the team over at Hack a Job that launched Archer, a solution to candidate fraud. Check out this video.
Love me some Hack a Job.
A little bump.
There's real threats here to companies. You're probably aware of the North Korean issue of people applying to jobs and trying to get data. I mean, this fraud is a real issue, and fortunately, Archer is here to help those companies.
Well, there are several different instances of candidate fraud happening within the recruitment process right now. On one end of the spectrum, you have candidates that are using AI to rewrite their resume based on your job description. On the other end of the spectrum, you have bad actors, people who are actually committing identity fraud and aren't who they say they are. Firstly, Archer assesses job seekers on one profile. Every single role that Archer will match them to will be based off that same profile. And this actually improves the candidate experience. They don't need to game the system by rewriting their resume. Instead, Archer gets to understand their real strengths and where they are going to be a good fit, meaning that candidates aren't wasting their time applying for jobs they're never going to get an interview for. Yep. And you're not sat there reviewing somebody's CV, which is fundamentally a misrepresentation of them. Secondly, Archer actually has ID verification built in.
What?
And so if you're hiring remotely and seeing an increase in actual identity fraud, Archer can do ID government checks before they even enter your ATS.
That's the shit I'm talking about right there. And just to be transparent, I say this during the full-fledged video. I am an advisor to Hack a Job, but I'm totally stoked about Archer. It's just one product that they've launched within Hack a Job within a 90-day pilot, which amassed an additional 1 million in ARR off a pilot after 90 days. So this is how you launch AI without the need for lengthy ass integration. So big applause to those guys.
Big applause for our friends at Hack a Job. I just want to know, Archer has a really nice
head
of hair. Was I the inspiration for that?
Oh, I'm sure.
For that image?
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure it was you. Oh, okay. That and Johnny Bravo.
Probably not. All right, let's hear about free stuff from our friend Stephen McGrath.
I like giving away free stuff.
Hi, everybody. It's me, Stephen McGrath, and I'm here to tell you all about how you can grab some free stuff from chatcheese.com. Now, you might be wondering why I'm sitting here topless, and the answer is really simple, because I've not grabbed my free t-shirt from Erin app at chatcheese.com yet. Let me fix that. Right, that's better. So I'm sporting a slightly vintage model here, but of course there are new and updated designs every year, and those are super soft, breathable, and some might even say huggable. Now, what else can you get? Of course, you can get some craft beer. It's not just any regular rubbish beer. That's craft beer brought to you by the data geeks at Aspen Tech Labs. And if you're not into beer too much, then... Oh, 2 seconds. I'm just going to get that. Then you can always go for chicken cock, baby. That's right. Not one, but 2 bottles of chicken cock from the lovely people at Proven Base. Now, you're not going to get any of this stuff unless you go to chatcheese.com/free and get yours today.
Excellent, Stephen. That's awesome. And let's go ahead and jump over to events.
Oh, yeah, events. Where the hell are we? Where the hell are we going, Stephen?
Events! Where are we going, boys?
So as always, we're sponsored by our friends over at Shaker Recruitment Marketing, who we're going to see in Chicago, and I expect the dogs, and I expect the Italian beef. Joe Shaker, I'm looking at you, my friend. Later next week, I'm headed back, or actually later this week, Jesus Christ, I'm headed back to the U.S. Because on the 20th through the 21st, Joel and I are going to be at Paradox's client board, where they get all their clients together. I saw a list of clients that are going to be there. Holy shit, dude. It's freaking awesome. Anyway, we're going to have some of those clients actually do some interviews with us for the AI sessions. We're rolling out another season. And then after that, on the 22nd, I'm heading over to PetSmart's HQ to an Ask Me Anything session with the National Retail Federation.
AMA.
Yeah, well, the National Retail Federation. That's something big. And last but never least, you and I are going to Chicago, April 28th through the 30th, where it's another 2-day TA leader-led event called the RLX. Going to be rubbing elbows with Ford, Nordstrom, Johnson Controls, Ace, Hardware, KPMG, and many, many, many more. And if you want to see us, go to chadcheese.com/events. Those are the events we're going to be at this year, and get a ticket. Come see us. Come buy us a whiskey. Who knows?
Let's go.
Let's go.
Topics!
Ooh.
All right, Chad. The AI training business is off the chain. Handshake and Mercor are experiencing explosive revenue growth due to surging demand for AI labs for human skilled contractors to train and refine frontier AI models. Shit's so good, LinkedIn wants a piece of that shit, saying they're in the early stages of launching an AI labor marketplace where people can make up to $150 an hour training chatbots to get better at everything from coding to nursing. Chad, give us a hot take on all things AI training.
Yeah, so I'm going to break this down into 2 phases. The first phase is called the side hustle seduction, coming to a platform near you, LinkedIn being the next one. This is about hubris, because experts who enjoy the side hustle cash think they are mentoring the AI, but in reality, they are training their replacements. Phase 2. This is what I like to call thanks for the memories saturation point. This is when we hit a model saturation point, which means humans have given all the intelligence we can into a specific expertise. For example, the AI has seen enough senior level Python code to know that 40% of it is just copied off a Stack Overflow anyway. So this all of a sudden dries up, and that $150 per hour training gigs, they go away. So where am I getting all this? Case in point, Anthropic's newest model, Mythos, was sidelined because it could become a global security risk as it exposed holes in software that were open for 27 years that us dumb humans missed. And remember, Paul Price over at CodeWall hacked Jack and Jill in hours using AI hackers because it's better and faster than humans. So if these systems can go well beyond that of human hackers, the question is, why do we think any other AI trainable job is safe?
So you get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
Side note, it's funny that I think the last time you and I talked about Handshake, they were launching a LinkedIn killer, and now LinkedIn is launching a Handshake killer. How that works, I'm not sure. And
we'll see.
And Handshake and Mercor are quite the pivots. Handshake was a college Gen Z platform for employment. And they had quite a footprint around college campuses. And now apparently the business of AI, humans training the models, because what they have at their disposal isn't quite enough. So they have to have the humans continue to do that. But it was a brilliant move because do you remember Mechanical Turk? It's still a thing, but Amazon had this thing, it's called Mechanical Turk. And if you want to have people do sort of these menial things for you, maybe go through a database for you, maybe click video, like masses of people would do little jobs for you. Those people don't have the experience to sort of train AI models, but Handshake, shockingly, because they're in college campuses, have tons of people with PhDs, with master's degrees, with degrees in certain things that are in high demand. So they were able to pivot and get these people in their database to start working for an hourly fee for companies like OpenAI and Anthropic and the like. Mercor started by a couple of 22-year-old kids who probably still probably don't pee straight, but that's beside the point. They started as basically a work anything remote solution when it was like 2023. Everyone was trying to work from home and remotely and like find your job as a remote person. And if you look at the TechCrunch article about, I think when they did their first raise, there were comments about training AI models, and the people who hired them were AI companies that needed that work. So they pivoted, but I think they had in their mind that maybe this was something that was going to be an opportunity in the future. LinkedIn doing it, obviously they have a ton of PhDs and master's degrees. So to create a marketplace where like, hey, this AI company needs help going through content about certain topics makes sense. My question is, to your point, how long does the gravy train run? Because at some point, human training, our ability to add to what is already in the recipe, I don't know if that runs out or not. I tend to think it does. I think at some point we hit a ceiling and we don't need people as much anymore. So I don't know how long these businesses can go. I assume the calculus is like sell the business before we hit the ceiling.
Yes. I
also don't know if there's really much of a moat to other competitors. I mean, could Indeed do this? Yeah. And Indeed being apparently. Indeed could probably crush it. And then it becomes, you guessed it, the race to the bottom. And instead of, $50, we're going to pay you more. And so we're less profitable. And it becomes this sort of self-fulfilling prophecy of failure. So I don't know how long that goes, but this is interestingly another story about picks and shovels. There's a lot of AI gold. Some of it's real, some of it's fooled, but to their credit, they are selling picks and shovels to these AI companies that have a lot of money. And for now, according to the data, these are companies now that are making $1 billion ARR, more than double, I think, in Handshake's case of what they were making before. So these are profitable initiatives, and we're here to talk about it. But where there's money, there's competition. There's weird shit going. I don't know. You mentioned one like Rent a Human that's sort of flips the table on AI asking humans to do shit. Like 2026 is going to get weirder, and it's going to get weirder in our space as well.
It totally will. It totally will. And I mean, again, we get to the point where, it's a hubris thing, we can go ahead and make this side hustle cash for as long as we can. No, it's short term. Number one, from a human standpoint. From the company standpoint, they're looking to try to drive ARR quickly to hopefully get somebody else to buy them, and hope that organization that's buying them doesn't understand this is a short term run. Right. This is a gold rush, but the gold in them thar hills will dry up.
Yeah, it's only going to take, let's assume OpenAI, somebody goes public, has the funds, they go buy they buy one of these companies. I mean, I could see Microsoft come in, buy one of these companies, and then plug it into LinkedIn. So acquisition is certainly going to happen. The question is, will there be a small amount of companies to gobble up, or will more and more come around so their valuation goes down because there's more competition? I don't really know what separates everyone from everyone else, other than being able to access PhDs and people that are smart enough to kind of do these jobs. But I think this is a short story that probably doesn't last longer than like 27 or 28.
Yeah, this LinkedIn play, I mean, I would think it's more of a Microsoft play as well. I mean, and Microsoft being able to dip into LinkedIn's database and put jobs out there to be able to again, do these side hustles to train their large language models. There it is.
You're not going to fall for the banana in the tailpipe?
Oh, they are.
All right, guys, let's take a quick break. If you like what you've heard so far, subscribe, tell a friend, check us out on YouTube, youtube.com/@ChadCheese. Leave us a review. We'll be right back.
Done. I think we'll cover speed and hiring.
Did somebody say speed? Then buckle up, boys. You're about to learn how to hire fast.
Who is that?
Vetty Betty. From Vetty, the hiring acceleration platform. Come on, man, keep up. What's up, Betty?
Hey, Chad. Vetty makes high compliance hiring easy. Background checks, licensing verifications, and health screenings, all in one place. Real-time updates, no red tape, and no delays. Hiring managers can move fast, stay smooth, and close the deal.
So they just sit back and watch. Hell, I could watch this all day.
That's right. Relax, enjoy the view, and don't lose the hire. It's that simple. With Vetty, it's all taken care of before they can even catch their breath.
Best lesson ever.
Class dismissed, boys. Vetty. Hiring as it should be. Visit vetty.co to learn more.
Chad, the Silicon elite have spoken quite loudly this week. The Silicon Valley elites, well, they're in the headlines again, but considerably spicier than usual. OpenAI Sam Altman had a 20-year-old Texan kid hurl a Molotov cocktail at his home. Mark Zuckerberg is busy creating an AI version of himself that specifically engages with employees. And in opposing views, Palantir's Alex Karp says working at his company is better than an Ivy League education and doubled down on AI destroying all white-collar roles, while Marc Andreessen said mass layoffs aren't AI's fault and that there would be a, quote, major employment boom around the corner. It's white dudes gone wild, Chad. What's your take on all the Valley insanity?
Yeah, I think the problem is that all these bastards have the ability to get on a mic, get one in their face whenever they want it, because they're so big, powerful, and they're big names. And they're just looking for a soundbite. I mean, if Zuckerberg never talked to another human in his life, he'd be happy. So this chatbot makes sense. on the Karp side of the house. This guy's a nut job. He spouts things out that people can get behind. I mean, we need more vocational talent. We need plumbers and electricians. And yeah, we've been saying this shit for fucking years, dude. And those are very well sought after skills. But then he says some stupid shit about how, liberal arts degrees and women are screwed and blah, blah. So you never know what is up with that crazy dude. I think he needs to get off the Special K. Then there's Andreessen. And I don't believe Marc Andreessen even believes the shit that's coming out of his own mouth. I think he's totally gaslighting a narrative, and he's trying to manage that narrative. And stick with me here. He needs positivity in the market or his fund loses millions. More importantly, he won't be able to raise more capital for the fund if he doesn't have a great story. And the market doesn't look great. At least the outlook doesn't look great. Not to mention, Andreessen wants to see cuts by companies to prop up higher margins so that enterprise companies can buy more of a startup tech shit, right? So these guys are like politicians. They don't believe what they're saying, or if they do believe it, they're not going to use their money and power to actually make something to happen. And the whole Altman thing, shit, dude, this smacks of the assassination of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. I mean, the pitchforks are already coming out for these CEOs. I mean, Zuck built a fucking bunker, for God's sakes, panic room house, for fuck's sake. And AI really hasn't even started to impact jobs yet. So imagine the pitchforks that are going to happen, especially when you live in a country with more guns than people. Scary shit. Apparently scary enough to build a bunker. So yeah, they're saying a bunch of crazy shit. I don't know that we can believe much, if any of it.
Doesn't anyone notice this? I feel like I'm taking crazy pills.
This actually, there's a story here in Indiana. I know you've been gone a while, but data centers are big news here in Indiana, and rural communities are pushing back on data centers that increase energy costs and don't actually add a lot of jobs to the local community. I think a county commissioner or something had shots taken at his house. Don't know exactly what kind of gun, but basically someone left a note that said no data center, or say no to data centers. So there are local stories that are popping up, I'm sure, all around the country around sort of anti-AI sentiment. The problem is, like, you can't have it both ways. You can't tell the street we're cutting every head possible in replacement of AI and appease Wall Street, and think the people, that message is going to resonate with them on Main Street as it does on Wall Street, because it doesn't. And these cats are like, Wall Street loves me, but Main Street hates me. Well, no shit. You can't have two opposing messages and think that both of them are going to take them both, equally. So we'll talk more about, I think, how particularly the young people think about AI. But as a general rule, if you tell people like, hey, your job's gone, your bills are going higher, and for that you get some AI videos about George Washington fighting Mike Tyson, like, that's really not a great trade-off for most people.
No.
The Zuckerberg thing, I mean, that's straight science fiction. I don't know what this is going to look like. I don't know. Is there going to be a hologram of Zuck walking around or like maybe 100 Zucks? Each employee has their own Zuck. He's there working with you. I don't know what that looks like. It can't be appealing to people to have like a digital CEO walking around. And you might remember, Meta did this, I think, with Pepsi. There was a Pepsi commercial with one of the Kardashian girls that was AI generated. The whole commercial was, and there was this is weird. And Veritone is a sponsor. They're doing a lot of like celebrity AIs and how all this looks. It's just kind of creepy. And I guess I'm probably too old to give a shit about what this looks like, but the young people, maybe it'll be normal for them. The Andreessen thing really got people stirred up in our space. I saw this all over LinkedIn, people commenting. And I agree with you. My initial thought was, okay, he's talking his book. maybe the Silicon Valley leader said, we can't keep talking about jobs getting cut because the people get pissed off and throw Molotov cocktails at our houses. So we have to talk about more jobs. It's going to create more opportunity. And his tweet that he put out on X was, quote, AI drives productivity, productivity drives demand, demand drives jobs. So it's a good story, but I wanted to see the data.
Yeah.
So if you go to Andreessen Horowitz's website, they have a job board. The job board has all their companies that they've invested in and all the jobs available at those companies. Maybe not all the jobs, but at least the jobs where they think they should put them on Andreessen. So I went back in time. I went back to 2024, early 24. They had 630 companies and 8,729 jobs listed. That's about 13 jobs per company.
Okay.
Fast forward to 2025, it went up to 15 jobs per company. 2025 later, still at 15. In 2026, 744 companies, 14,043 jobs, or 18 jobs per company. And today, when you go to the site, there's 753 companies and over 15,000 at 20 jobs per company. So, in short, in 2024, there were 13 jobs per company. Today, there are 20 jobs per company. So at least the data is telling you that the companies that they're investing in are hiring more people. I thought it was going to be the opposite. I thought it was going to be more earlier, and I thought it was going to trail off as we went into the future. So at least data-wise, the companies they're investing in, they are hiring more people than they were 2 years ago. So maybe there is a little bit of ray of hope about more jobs being created from this.
You also have to remember they've had money that they haven't been spending. We saw a huge dip in firms not spending and getting into that next round because they had no clue what the fuck Trump was going to do. Now they're spending that money, so they're pushing it out there. So yeah, I don't know if it's artificial, especially when it comes to this firm. But at the end of the day, the thing that gets me, I'm going to say it, and we've said it over and over and over again. We've heard Sam Altman, we've heard all these dudes talk about the jobs that AI will create. Okay. What are they? I mean, you guys are the fucking geniuses around here. You're the ones creating this stuff. You're the ones pontificating on all this yes, no, maybe so jobs. What is it? If that's the case, history shows this is bigger than anything we've ever seen in history. So what is it? That's all I want to. I want to see that. So I don't believe them until they can actually come back and start to talk through these different things, infrastructure builds or what have you. Then that makes sense to me. That's awesome. But yeah, I'm cynical as fuck. No, I don't believe them.
That escalated quickly.
And to be clear, this was not an extensive research assignment.
No, it's a good sample size, though. It's a good sample size.
I was really just curious. I was like, okay, let's look at the jobs and the companies that they have. And there may be one or two companies in their portfolio that hire a lot of headcount and brings the number up for everybody. Again, this was not an extensive research project. And there's also a story, I think, in the Journal or the Financial Times this week about how people, particularly younger people, are getting sick of the job search thing and the whole ghost job. So they're starting their own businesses more and more. We're seeing an increase in new businesses. Ultimately, 90% of those are going to fail, but 10% will be successful. There may be an Uber in there. There may be an Airbnb, but that's kind of where the jobs of the future may be created. And we've talked about that before. But AI has a problem, Chad. They got a little bit of a problem. They don't look so good with the kids, which brings us to our next story. Call it a metaphorical Molotov cocktail. The youths are progressively not all right with AI. A new Gallup study reveals 41% of Gen Z now use AI weekly, though only 11% trust it for career advice and 64% fear it will decrease entry-level wages. Furthermore, while 61% of Gen Z believe AI will transform their industries, over half report feeling unprepared for this shift. Chad, the kids are not all right. What's your advice to them?
I think we do a lot about making things around generation when we don't need to. So I think it's time for a history lesson.
Oh, Dude, you didn't
caught you off guard.
Cue me up on that one. Hold on, where are you, Steve? Oh, here we go.
Time for a history lesson.
That's right. So before we had computing in the cloud, aka cloud computing, you needed to have your own servers to run your own software. Yes, you received disks and downloaded that software onto your own server. So you could do things like email people. No shit. To email people, you had to do that, right? So then cloud computing made it mainstream push on the commercial space in about 2006 with the launch of Amazon Web Services, which introduced scalable on-demand infrastructure to businesses, while early software as a service, the SaaS providers like Salesforce introduced the concept around 2006, 2008, which marked the shift where cloud became a viable replacement for traditional enterprise IT infrastructure, aka building a fucking server farm. So much like cloud computing, once AI is baked into products, adoption won't be a concern. It's just part of using the product. And for example, currently Gemini is partially baked into Google search, but when it's fully baked into Google search, that means the results and the entire experience will be AI driven. Adoption isn't a worry because the platform is AI. So is there a survey question out there that says, is your company adopting cloud computing? Well, fuck no. That's because it's already baked in, right? Yeah. So we're having these generational conversations that I think, to be quite frank, is just total fucking misdirection. Look at cloud computing. Look at how that progressed. And it's going to be baked in. So we're not going to be saying, do you use AI? Yeah, we do, because it's baked into everything we fucking do.
Yeah.
Get off my line, you no good punk kids.
So I found this really interesting. And I'm glad we talking about it because I dug in a little bit. And looking back when you and I were a younger version of ourselves, the internet was first coming out.
Yeah.
And it was promising. It was exciting. What I can send an email. I don't have to put a stamp on a letter to send it. That was transformational. Digital cameras. I don't need to go by film and go to the hour, the 1 hour. That was transformational.
Killed Kodak.
And then continually with social media, like what? I can have all my friends. So it was curious because technology, I think, is generally aspirational or inspirational. And the fact that the kids are turning on this is really fascinating to me. But as you dig a little deeper, there's 3 points here to talk about why the kids might not be that excited about AI. Number one is AI is shit for the environment. I'm not an expert on this, but just go Google water. Like the amount of energy it takes to run these data centers is really not good for the environment. Number two, it's a technology that apparently is going to get everyone fired. No one's going to have jobs anymore, especially the kids. When you're a kid or when you're in your 20s, whatever, what am I going to do is a huge weight on your shoulders. And if I had the world telling me at 19 to 22 that, you know what, kid, sorry, all the jobs are going to be gone, I might be a little bit down on that technology. And then number three, I think that AI waters down creativity. And when I think about who are the most creative people on the planet, it's young people. It's young people that make the music, that do the art, that, design clothes. Creativity is where you as a young person find out who you are. What are you good at? What is it that you're what's your life going to be like? And AI right now, it writes, it does images, it does video, it talks, it walks, all the things creative that you and I as older people are like, oh, cool, it writes a summary, or, oh, cool, I can make a image for our podcast. Young people look at that and go, okay, the creativity that I would have put in that is now gone. So you have something that's bad for the environment. It's going to take all the jobs, and it basically extinguishes or dilutes creativity. Well, no shit, the kids don't like it. So will they grow into it and it'll just be acceptable? To your point, sure, probably. But I totally understand why kids would look at this, young people, and go, man, this is some bullshit. Why are we getting behind this? This sucks. This sucks.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, they're going to be happy for a minute because they'll be able to train the AI and get a little side hustle cash, and then.
Well, when OnlyFans is 99 cents a month for like all the AI girls and boys and nakedness, like maybe people will be okay. Go have a Chipotle bowl, kids. You'll feel a lot better. You'll feel a lot better.
I'm sure you will.
All right, guys. Another quick break, and when we come back, we'll talk some specific industry news, which I know is the meat you've all been waiting for.
Hello, I'm Omar, founder and CEO of JobPixel. I'm going to talk about two things. Number one is JobPixel. We do short form video content. So if you're a recruitment, marketing, or employer branding leader, you have to do video content, collect content from your employees. You're going to be able to show impact that you've never seen before. Number two, I would love to talk about People Brain Collective. People Brain Collective is a new organization that just got started by some of the best minds in our industry. And it brings all recruitment, marketing, and employer branding leaders together in one place to have a conversation about the impact of their work. I promise you, it's something you do not want to miss. So after this video, you'll see a QR code. Scan that QR code with your phone, go to their website and sign up for a membership. You will not regret it. They have amazing people talking about the best topics you'll absolutely love. Thank you, and I can't wait to see you there.
All right, Chad, call Humanly Butter, because they're on a roll. After raising $25 million earlier this month, they've gone shopping again.
Yep.
The Seattle-based company has acquired Anthill to combine AI-driven automated recruiting with mobile-first employee engagement tools tailored for deskless workers. Humanly says the acquisition expands their platform to manage the full employee lifecycle, aiming to improve retention and reduce turnover for companies with large frontline workforces. Chad, is this a big deal, or are we making a mountain out of an anthill? See what I did there?
Does that mean we don't
that's
need
awesome.
We don't need a dad joke, man. We don't need a dad joke now. That's awesome. Okay, so before I dig into kind of like the expansion piece here, quick question, because in reading into the blog post, I did find something incredibly interesting that I think is telling. Quote, Humanly will continue operating the Anthill platform as it explores how to integrate its capabilities into the broader Humanly platform, end quote. So it's not a question about running under two brands. Rather, it's a tech question, which I feel is something that they should have covered during the technical aspects of due diligence. So this feels like it needed to happen fast. You see what I'm saying? I mean, it's like that conversation should have happened during due diligence, and generally would happen during due diligence, not running under two, separately or what have you for later integration. This was, we'll see if we can. So it almost feels like it was a fire sale. That's what it feels like. So that's what I got out of the press, or the blog press release.
Yeah.
On the expansion side of the house, this expands Humanly's capabilities both up and down the funnel with hiring, onboarding, retention. It's smart because, much like we talked about last week, you missed it, Grayscale's acquisition by Paylocity, many bigger systems are going to need an AI and agentic company working inside of them. Strip away all of the old UI that kind of connected the processes and systems before, replace it with better automation, a chat interface, and agents that can, they can actually enter entire and multiple databases like filing systems, grab some information, place some information, and then move on to the next task, right? So instead of using these databases like we've tried to over the years, we have agents, and we don't have to even fuck with UI really anymore. This, to me, is a very smart positioning move by Humanly, because if they become more of an up and down funnel agentic player, orchestration player, they're looking for acquisition, my friend.
Yeah. Oh, the acquisition is their middle name.
60% of the time, it works every time.
When we were doing Firing Squad, Humanly was one of the companies we talked to, and our work Qualify and Sprockets were all acquisitions last year for Humanly. Well, we know the Qualify guys pretty well. We know our work. We've talked about Sprockets. So if nothing else, whoever's doing the M&A over at Humanly is doing a great job. I don't know whose job that is, but they are doing a fantastic job of, I think, consolidating a lot of the players and pieces that sort of complement what Humanly's trying to do, which is essentially be the from hire to fire process of the entire hiring of that entire process. Excuse me. So I got to think this is a mix of companies that either the runway was close to being ran out, people who are smart at those companies, and you and I know quite a few of them. So to basically bring those into the Humanly ecosystem, to take whatever tech and companies and clients that were their customers, bring those into Humanly, I think is the strategy around here. I think that they're very good discount hunters at Humanly in terms of the acquisitions. To your point, Anthill, I don't think I'd ever heard of them until this acquisition. We'd never seen them at a conference. We've never had a call from them like, hey, we want to talk to you. So they're not exactly setting the world on fire. This is not Workday buying Paradox. This is a clearance rack sale. Now, Anthill's founder is a PhD, all the people at the top of Anthill have a pretty good, robust CV. So assuming that they come into the Humanly ecosystem, they're going to add value, I think, to what's going on. But Humanly is quietly creating a platform that's on level with just about anyone in the space. And they seem to have a really nice niche around the high frequency, seasonal, hourly workforce. And their secret isn't so quiet anymore, because they've been successful enough that you and I are probably going to be talking about them on a fairly regular basis going forward.
Yeah, Frontline, Grayscale, big on the frontline hiring side of the house. This is frontline hiring management as well. And as we talked about Paradox and Workday and Smart Recruiters and SAP, and actually sitting down with, Sharon and Mikhail over at Smart Recruiters and talking about literally being the connective tissue between systems. Because a business suite like SAP, they have many systems that are a part of that business suite, up and down the funnel. I mean, all the way from talent acquisition through the entire employee lifecycle, payrolling, et cetera, even the business side of the house. But being the connective tissue to be able to literally, instead of having these crazy, as Mark talked about on the Hack a Job, if you guys haven't seen the bump, go take a look at the bump. Integration is not something that is hard anymore when using these systems. It becomes much easier. Again, it's more orchestration than it is integration. And it's so smart. And a lot of these legacy companies, they don't have the ability to do this stuff. So if they do have an acqui-hire in this case, I think it's incredibly smart.
Yeah. And of course, the fly in the ointment, or the ant in the ointment, if you will, Chad, is the impending eightfold case and the black boxes, and how that's going to impact all these companies going forward, and who's better prepared. And I like to think Humanly is maybe better prepared for a future. I think they're more or less vulnerable to a case like that than others. But we'll see. Curious about the Grayscale stuff. As far as I can tell, Kiora is like the last text recruiting solution standing. Did you guys talk about any others?
No.
Yeah, they're like, So
no. I mean, because they didn't pivot. They evolved to be even more than just SMS. And I think Grayscale did, and again, I think a lot of that had to do with marketing and obviously development. But I mean, SMS still a backbone. There's no question. But to be able to be that company that can float across platforms instead of just a single point solution is huge now.
Well, Grayscale evolved, but you know who's not evolving, Chad?
Us, because we have dad jokes.
And dad jokes. All right, we know that the Pope is weak on crime, but what do you call an ant that fights crime, Chad? What do you call an ant that fights crime?
A sergeant?
Vigilante. What do you call an ant that lives in Vatican City?
I don't know.
Tenants. Where do ants go on vacation?
The Vatican. I don't know.
France. Oh, God.
Oh, God.
See you in Phoenix. We out.
We out.
Thank you for listening to, what's it called? A podcast. The Chat. The Cheese. Brilliant. They talk about recruiting. They talk about technology. But most of all, they talk about nothing. Just a lot of shout-outs of people you don't even know. And yet you're listening. It's incredible. And not one word about cheese. Not one. Cheddar. Blue. Nacho. Pepper jack. Swiss. So many cheeses and not one word. So weird. Anywho, be sure to subscribe today on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. That way you won't miss an episode. And while you're at it, visit www.chatcheese.com. Just don't expect to find any recipes for grilled cheese. It's so weird. We out!